Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about second lecture of antihypertensive agents. In lecture 1, we have discussed about introduction to hypertension, etiology of hypertension and classification of antihypertensive agents. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about drugs acting on sympathetic system, that is the first class of antihypertensive agents. This class has different subclasses. Out of them, in today's lecture, we will discuss about central sympatholytics, adrenergic neuron blockers, ganglionic blocking agents, and alpha-adrenergic blocking agents. First, drugs acting on sympathetic system. Now, first of all, what is sympathetic system? It is nothing but the adrenergic system, one type of autonomous nervous system, right? It is a adrenergic system, and it have again two classes: sympathomimetic agents and sympatholytic agents. Sympathomimetic agents cause the stimulation of sympathetic system, and sympatholytic agents cause inhibition of the sympathetic system. Sympathetic system includes adrenergic receptors alpha and beta. Again, it has the different subclasses: alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. Right? These are the adrenergic receptors. Then sympathetic neurotransmitters are catecholamines. Right? It includes adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, etc. Okay. Now, here we are going to discuss about the drugs acting on sympathetic system. So, first of all, we should have understanding about the effect of sympathetic system on the CVS, that is cardiovascular system. Right? If stimulation of the sympathetic system occur, then what type of effect will be produced on the cardiovascular system? Right? In cardiovascular system, again there are two divisions. One is heart and second one is vasculature. Vasculature, that means system of blood vessels. Right? So, sympathetic system affect both heart as well as vasculatures. Right? So, here one chart is given for the effect of sympathetic system on the cardiovascular system. See, increase in sympathomimetic effect, that is because of overproduction or incomplete degradation of catecholamine. Right? When catecholamine, that is a neurotransmitter of the sympathetic system, adrenaline or noradrenaline. Right? So, when concentration of this type of neurotransmitter will increases, right? That is because of different reason, due to overproduction of neurotransmitter, due to any reasons, or incomplete degradation of catecholamine, that will lead to the increase in blood concentration of the catecholamine. Likewise, increase in sympathetic outflow from the brain. Right? This is because of the different condition, that is emotional or stress condition. Right? During the emotional and stress condition lead to the increase in sympathetic outflow from the brain. That will also increases the sympathetic activity. Right? So, all over sympathetic activity increases, and that will lead to increase in sympathomimetic effect. Now, increase in sympathomimetic effect leads to the increase in cardiac output and peripheral resistance. Now, cardiac output is related to heart, and peripheral resistance is related to vasculature system, that is blood vessels. Now, increase in cardiac output lead to the increase in heart rate, stroke volume and myocardial contractility. Right? When cardiac output increases, it will lead to the increase in heart rate. Heart rate will increase, then increase in stroke volume. Stroke volume is nothing but the volume of blood pumped from the left ventricle per beat. Right? As we know that oxygenated blood goes to the aorta from the left ventricle of the heart. Right? So, when blood pumped from the left ventricle to the aorta per beat, that volume is known as the stroke volume. And myocardial contractility. Myocardial contractility is nothing but the contraction of myocardial muscles. Right? Ability of the myocardial muscles to contract. So that is the myocardial contractility. Right? So this all over effect on the heart will increase. Right? When cardiac output increases, it will lead to increase in heart rate, stroke volume and myocardial contractility. Likewise, when peripheral resistance increases on the blood vessels, then it affects the vasculature or vascular function and its structure. Right? So, it increases the peripheral resistance. All over, that will lead to the increase in blood pressure. Right? Increase in blood pressure, that is the hypertension. So, ultimately, increase in sympathetic activity will lead to the increase in blood pressure and lead to the hypertension. Now, let's discuss the drugs, right? Antihypertensive drugs related to sympathetic system. So, first subclass of drugs acting on sympathetic system is central sympatholytics. These are the drugs which act on the vasomotor center of the brain. Right? Central sympatholytics, that means they are acting centrally, that means in the brain. So these are the drugs that act on the vasomotor center of the brain. Then it blocks sympathetic activity, right, within brain, thereby reduce the sympathetic outflow to the heart. Right? It blocks the sympathetic activity within the brain. That's why it will reduce the sympathetic outflow to the heart and thereby decrease the cardiac output, decrease the cardiac heart rate and myocardial contractility of the heart muscles. Right? When it reduces the sympathetic outflow to the heart, it will lead to the decrease in cardiac output, decrease in heart rate and decrease in contractility of the heart muscles. Again, when it reduces the sympathetic outflow to the vasculatures, then it will lead to the decrease in sympathetic vascular tone, which causes the vasodilation. That means it decreases the peripheral resistance and that will lead to the vasodilation and reduce systemic vascular resistance, and that will in turn decrease arterial pressures. Examples are methyldopa and clonidine. Methyldopa is ester of the methyl dopa. Mechanism of action of central sympatholytics. They act by two ways. Primarily, these agents act through stimulation of the alpha-2 presynaptic adrenoreceptor in the vasomotor center of the brain. Right? It acts centrally. So, in vasomotor center in the brain, there is a presence of alpha-2 presynaptic adrenoreceptor. Right? These agents cause the stimulation of this receptor that will resulting in the decrease in sympathetic outflow to the peripheral vessels and decrease in sympathetic outflow to the peripheral vessels that will lead to decrease in peripheral resistance and lead to the vasodilation. Then secondary action, due to structural similarity with the intermediates involved in the biosynthesis of catecholamines and other neurotransmitters. Right? So, due to structural similarity, it competes with the normal intermediates and neurotransmitter for binding sites. Right? So, it causes the competitive inhibition of the normal neurotransmitter. They inhibit the interaction of normal neurotransmitter with binding site to produce action via either formation of the false neurotransmitter or act as false neurotransmitter itself. Ultimately cause the decrease in the sympathetic activity that will lead to decrease in peripheral resistance and will lead to the vasodilation and decrease in the blood pressure. Uses of central sympatholytics are management of moderate to severe hypertension, management of hypertension during pregnancy. Right? They are used in the management of moderate to severe hypertension and also useful for the management of hypertension during pregnancy. Adverse effects: drowsiness, sedation, mental impairment, nasal congestion, dry mouth, etc. This type of side effects are observed with the central sympatholytic agents. Next, adrenergic neuron blockers. These are the group of antihypertensive agents that selectively inhibit sympathetic neuron function through interference with chemical mediation at nerve endings. Right? They interact during the chemical mediation at the nerve endings. Right? Examples are guanethidine and reserpine. These are the drugs having similar mechanism of action involving neurotransmitter storage granules. They affect the neurotransmitter storage granules. Right? So, they interfere with storage and release of catecholamines. First one is reserpine. It is an alkaloid extracted from root of Rauwolfia serpentina belonging to family Apocynaceae. Reserpine is naturally occurring alkaloid and obtained from the natural source, that is the root of Rauwolfia serpentina belonging to family Apocynaceae. It is self-natural as well as semi-synthetic derivatives are available of the reserpine. They have the good antihypertensive activity, and this drug have ability to cross BBB, that is blood-brain barrier. Right? Due to its ability to cross BBB, it produces the significant side effects, adverse effects related to central nervous system. That's why it is rarely used in management of hypertension. Mechanism of action: it causes depletion of catecholamines and serotonin stores in peripheral and central nervous system. Right? Reserpine causes the depletion of catecholamines and serotonin stored in the peripheral and central nervous system, that is into the storage vesicles, right? So reserpine act to replace and deplete the adrenergic neurons of their storage of the norepinephrine by inhibiting the active transport magnesium ATPase, right? How this reserpine cause the depletion of catecholamines or neurotransmitter? By inhibition of the active transport magnesium ATPase. Now, what is the function of this active transport? This magnesium ATPase is responsible for the sequestering neurotransmitter within storage vesicle, right? Sequestering means the isolate, to keep isolated or to keep in, right? So this active transport magnesium ATPase cause the isolation of the neurotransmitter within storage vesicle. That means to keeping the neurotransmitter within storage vesicle, right, and stored it. But this drug reserpine cause the inhibition of this active transport, right, will lead to the inhibition of storage of the neurotransmitter, right? That means decrease the storage of the neurotransmitter. And the neurotransmitter which are not sequestering or stored by storage granules, they are destroyed by enzyme monoamino oxidase, right? Due to inhibition of the active transport magnesium ATPase, storage of the neurotransmitter decreases, and neurotransmitter which are not stored by the storage granules, they are destroyed by monoamino oxidase enzyme, right? So it will lead to decrease in storage of neurotransmitter, right? Neurotransmitter storage is decreases, and that will lead to the decrease in release of the neurotransmitter, because there is no store of neurotransmitter adequately. So decreases the release, and that's why decreases the sympathetic stimulation, right? That will lead to the vasodilation and decreases the blood pressure. It also interferes with release of neurotransmitter, right? It interferes with the release of neurotransmitter. That's why decreases the concentration of the adrenergic neurotransmitter. That will lead to the decrease in sympathetic activity and cause the vasodilation. That will lead to the decrease in blood pressure. Second one is guanethidine, mechanism of action. It is primarily act through inhibition of release of neurotransmitter. That's why it will lead to the decrease in sympathetic activity on the CVS system. That will lead to the decrease in blood pressure. It also acts as false neurotransmitter, right? So it binds to the receptor site of the normal neurotransmitter and cause inhibition of the sympathetic activity, will lead to the decrease in blood pressure. Uses of reserpine. It is useful for the management of mild to moderate hypertension. It is used in mental illness, schizophrenia and other mental disorder, right? Due to the crossing of the blood-brain barrier, it acts centrally, or it produces the effect on the central nervous system. That's why it is useful in the mental illness, schizophrenia and other mental disorder. Then guanethidine is used in moderate to severe hypertension and also used in the renal hypertension. Then it is also useful for the management of open angle glaucoma, right? Open angle glaucoma is nothing but the optic nerve damage that is due to the increase in internal eye pressure, right? Due to internal eye pressure, increase in internal eye pressure that will lead to the damage of the optic nerve, right, that narrate the eye. So, to decrease the internal eye pressure, guanethidine is used in the open angle glaucoma. Then, ganglion blocking agent. These are agents which act by blocking ganglion nerve transmission, right? They act by inhibiting or blocking ganglion nerve transmission, right? This ganglion nerve transmission occur between two ganglion, preganglion to postganglion nerve, right? Transmission of the nerve signal from preganglion to postganglion, right? So this transmission is blocked by these agents. That's why it reduces the sympathetic activity, will lead to the decrease in peripheral resistance and cardiac output. It will lead to the decrease in blood pressure. They were used in the treatment of hypertensive cardiovascular disease. Examples are trimethophan, guanoxane and dabrizoquine. Now, ganglion, since mechanism governing the transmission in all autonomic ganglia remains same, right? There is no selectivity, right? Because mechanism governing transmission in all autonomic ganglia remains same, right? So, non-selective action leads to the numerous side effects, right? These drugs act non-selectively, right? And that's why it produces the numerous side effects, right? That's why they are now totally replaced by more selective and less toxic beta-1 adrenoreceptor blocking agents, right? Some drawbacks related to the uses of ganglionic blocking agent includes inconsistent fluctuation in the blood pressure, then poor oral absorption and other side effects associated with sympathetic and parasympathetic blockage, that is because of the non-selectivity. Fourth subclass is alpha-1 adrenergic blocking agents. These are the drugs that cause the blockage of the alpha-1 adrenergic receptor, right? Now, see the information about the alpha adrenergic receptor. The alpha adrenergic receptors are of two types: postsynaptic alpha-1 adrenoreceptors and presynaptic alpha-2 adrenoreceptors. Now, alpha-1 adrenoreceptors located in smooth muscles of the blood vessels and gland cells, right? These alpha-1 receptors are present on smooth muscles of blood vessels and gland cells, right? And stimulation of this alpha-1 receptor, postsynaptic alpha-1 receptor, leads to the vasoconstriction. And alpha-2 adrenergic receptors present on presynaptic site in the central nervous system, right? Nerves as well as CNS, right? Presynaptic site on the nerves and also present in the central nervous system. Now, activation of the alpha-2 adrenoreceptor cause inhibition of the neurotransmitter release. That is nothing but the action like the central sympatholytic drug that cause the activation of the alpha-2 adrenoreceptor, right? Potent alpha-2 adrenoreceptor central sympatholytic agents are the potent alpha-2 adrenoreceptor agonist. They cause the activation of alpha-2 adrenergic receptors. So, activation of alpha-2 adrenergic receptor cause the inhibition of neurotransmitter release. Then drugs of alpha adrenergic block is the first. So here the drugs are the alpha-1 adrenergic blocking agents, right? So normally activation of alpha-1 adrenal receptor cause the vasoconstriction, right? So it will lead to the hypertension. But when the drug inhibit the action of the alpha-1 adrenergic receptor, that is the blockage of the alpha-1 adrenal receptor lead to the vasodilation, and that will lead to the decrease in the blood pressure. Now see the drug vinazolone derivative, that is the drug, they were originated during toxicity study of the anti-malarial compound, right? So it is generated during the accidental discovery, right? When anti-malarial compound were studied, this vinazolone derivative are originated, right? So this derivative at that time seen that this intermediate or vinazolone derivative have the alpha-1 adrenergic blocking agents activity, right? Example are prazosin and doxazosin. Next one is phentolamine derivative. It includes the phentolamine. They are two substituted imidazolone derivatives. The structure of the all drugs we have seen during the classification, right? So I am not repeating here the structure of the drugs, right? So when you see the structure of phentolamine in classification, they are the two substituted imidazolone derivative. It contains the heterocyclic ring imidazolene, right? And they have sympathomimetic, parasympathomimetic and histaminic activity. Mechanism of action. Alpha-1 adrenal, see first normal function of the alpha-1 receptor. Alpha-1 adrenal receptors present in smooth muscles of blood vessels, right? So when it get activated, right, activation of this receptor by neurotransmitter lead to the stimulation of G protein coupled receptor. GQ, it is the subtype of the G protein. So GQ protein coupled receptor stimulation occur, that will lead, activate the secondary pathway, that is IP3 signal transduction pathway, right? Secondary pathway is activated and it produces the vascular smooth muscle contraction, that is vasoconstriction, right? It is the normal mechanism, normal process when alpha-1 adrenal receptor get activated by the neurotransmitter. It will lead to the stimulation of the GQ protein and that will lead to the stimulation of the IP3 signal transduction pathway and that cause the vasoconstriction, that is the vascular smooth muscle contraction. Now see, when our drugs bind to the alpha-1 adrenal receptor present in smooth muscle of blood vessels, then it causes the inhibition of stimulation of alpha-1 adrenal receptors, right? And inhibition of alpha-1 adrenergic receptor lead to the inhibition of vasoconstriction, right? So it will lead to the vasodilation, right? And that will help to decrease the blood pressure to the normal level. These drugs dilate both arteries and veins, right? These drugs dilate both arteries as well as veins because both vessel types are innervated by the sympathetic adrenergic nerves, because in both arteries and veins alpha-1 adrenergic receptors are present, right? So drugs bind in both arteries and veins alpha-1 adrenergic receptor and dilate the both, right? So it is vasodilation. They cause vasodilation only. It is not affect cardiac output and heart rate, right? it have the effect only on the blood vessels. It does not affect the heart, right? So it only causes the vasodilation, but it does not affect the heart. That's why it does not produces the effect on the cardiac output and heart rate. No other pharmacological actions is observed with the alpha-1 adrenergic blocking agents. Only produces the vasodilatation, and that will lead to the reducing blood pressure. Therapeutic application of the alpha-1 adrenergic blocking agents. It is useful in initial management of initial hypertension. That means in mild hypertension, right? For the treatment of mild hypertension, it is used in initial stage. Then it is used in older men who suffer from symptomatic benign prostatic hyperplasia, right? Then in combination with other agents, it can be used in mild to moderate hypertension to manage the mild to moderate hypertension. Then side effects. Different side effects can be seen with alpha-1 adrenergic blocking agents are dizziness, orthostatic hypotension. That is orthostatic hypotension. It is not the underlying disease, but it is have the cause, different cause. For example, due to dehydration, then due to postural changes, right? So it is the orthostatic hypotension. Then nasal congestion, headache, and reflex tachycardia, that is increasing the heart rate and vasoconstriction, blood pressure, right? So these are the side effects. Next, subclasses of the drugs acting on sympathetic system we will discuss in next lecture. Thank you.